Hey, Grace Co, it's Pastor Randy here. I want to talk about a difficult concept to understand, maybe easy to understand actually, but just difficult to apply to our lives. It's one that takes supernatural faith. It's one that takes God's power working within us if we really wish to apply this. But when we do, it will result in tremendous peace and joy in our lives. It says in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 2, "Consider it all joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials." That is not a normal reaction, even for most Christians. When our car breaks down, when we experience sickness, when we're getting persecuted for our faith, very few of us rejoice in that. Now, the Bible's not teaching us to find joy in pain. That's unnatural. That's unhealthy. That's not biblical. But the Bible's teaching us that we can find joy in our pain because of what God will produce through that pain. We don't believe that things happen to us by luck or by chance or by fate. We believe that God is sovereign. And especially as His children, He's got a purpose for us. And when He allows things into our lives, He's permitting them that He might use what's in our lives to make us better. Growth often comes in the sea of affliction. What we must remember is that God is in control, that God is good, that God is loving, that God is kind, and that God is wise. And therefore, we can submit to the difficulties, as hard as that might be and as hard as that might sound, that He brings into our lives. We are called to remain under the weight. The Bible uses the word here, endurance. The Greek word is upomene. It literally is to remain under. It's like the picture that comes to my mind of the big weightlifters that lift the weight above their head and they hold it above their head until the judge signifies it as an official lift by turning on the green light. But in the meantime, they have to remain under that weight. That's how we are to engage trials as well. That when God sends a trial our way, that we would not complain, that we would not seek to simply be relieved from the trial, but rather that we would remain under the weight, that it might complete its purpose for us. And that purpose here, according to James, is that we might be complete and perfect, lacking in nothing. That's the goal of the Christian life, that God would use whatever He has to use to make us more like Jesus. And we would submit to that plan because God's goal for us is to conform us to the image of Christ. I think of the Apostle Paul when he had that tremendous trial he went through. We don't know what it was, but it said he pleaded with God 3 times that that thorn might be removed from him. And God said to him, "My grace is sufficient for you." And Paul responded by saying, "Therefore I am well content with trials." We don't wish trials upon ourselves, but we understand that in the midst of a trial, as difficult as it may be, God is working, and God is accomplishing something that we should desire more than anything else, and that is making us more like Jesus. And when we have that attitude, we will have peace, we'll have joy, we'll have contentment, even through the most difficult times that God might choose to send our way. May God bless you, and may God give you grace to endure the trials that He might make you more like Jesus.